Okay, guys. So, am I to understand that we're getting ready to do 4 episodes of this? This reunion is going to be broken into 4 parts. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 6, episode 18, which is part 1 of the reunion. 4 parts. 4 parts. I can't even fathom 4 parts of this, but all right, if you say so. Look, let's go. We're going to go through this. You know, generally with the reunion, we start right off with the fashion. But we're not even going to do that because I already did it. I already did the fashions because the fashions actually had leaked a little bit earlier on. I will say this. You know, there's always that situation. All I was waiting for, like I said, I'll link my video where I actually went through the fashions to this video. But sitting versus standing. That's what I wanted to see. Karen looks uncomfortable. She was actually my favorite of the fashions. She's my favorite, but she looks a little uncomfortable because, again, the dress is so short. Escala, the same thing. The dress is so short that it's a little uncomfortable. Ashley doesn't know how to sit. Ashley, just, I don't even know what to say for you. You're a train wreck. You're a train wreck. She doesn't know how to sit. She's all but just. She need to wear pants. She don't know what she's doing. She does not know what she's doing. But anyway, other than that, everything else seems to be sitting really well. I was surprised. I thought Escala's sitting was going to be even more kind of uncomfortable, but she's doing well. She's just sitting there and she's doing well, but it looks a little uncomfortable because, again, it is very short. It's very short. Anyway, first thing that stuck out to me when Ashley came out, she was saying Andy told her that she looked really cute. And she says, oh, yes, I'm Darby's Barbie. Andy just kind of chuckled because I know Andy was thinking the same thing I was thinking. And she said, oh, yeah, that's what he calls me. Girl, you just read yourself, honey. I'm Darby's Barbie. You know, all of my kind actually have a girlfriend or a sister or an auntie or somebody that they treat like a Barbie doll. And I'm being messy as right now. Every one of us has somebody that we vision as like a life-size Barbie, and we tend to dress them, especially if you're really like me and you're like a fashion person and I make clothes and design clothes and all. So you always have a little muse, honey, that is like just a live Barbie doll. My live Barbie doll was my grandma. My grandma had hair all down, you know, her hair grew all the way down her back, and my grandmother loved beads, baubles, feathers, and rhinestones, and all those things, honey. And trust me, all through hair school, honey, I dealt with that mannequin while I was at school, but when I went home, honey, it was me and Miss Thelma, baby, and we be getting it, honey. And my grandmother was in like 3 hairstyles a week, honey. She was getting her hair done. And I had a live Barbie doll, honey, which was my grandma. And now you're telling me that Michael has a live Barbie doll and it's you. That happens too. Some of us actually marry or date and we actually take on Barbie dolls. This is not the first that we actually seen of this on Real Housewives. Portia was a Barbie doll. Weren't you, Portia? Okay, I'm done. I'm done. Because I'm being messy as hell. Cordell. Cordell. I'll be quick because you know Cordell see you, Hattie. Go on and sue Cordell, but I'm going to ask you, honey, come in close to the screen, Cordell. Come in close, my love. Portia was your real life Barbie doll, wasn't she? She's a good one, though. She's a good one. Oh, baby, Miss Portia. Miss Portia can wear some clothes, can't she? Yes, honey. Sun-kissed Barbie with a peach. Ooh. Anyway, Michael got him one too, honey. A sun-kissed Barbie with a smashed peach. Ooh. Anyway, I'm done. Let me quit. Off my soapbox, but boom, 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 bam, and I'm back. Let's go. Moving on. Giselle, poor Giselle. Child, they done came in there and let Giselle have it, like they do every year about her, you know, needing a stylist. And she says, I have a stylist. I have the same stylist that I've been had. You know, it's that hairdresser of hers. And Wendy was like, you have the same hairstylist? You have the same stylist you had since you came here? How dreadful. I said, oh. How dreadful. And Candace and Karen was just, they were steadfast in giving, girl, she can't dress, honey. It was what it was. She can't dress. Then this was the other thing. When the scholar came out, the scholar didn't come out until later in the first episode. She comes out and they're like, okay, so they're talking to a scholar, and the first thing they say to her is, girl, you know, we got a lot of emails about your fashions throughout the season. And listen, I'm so happy for a scholar. I think she fits in perfect. I hope she definitely is staying with the show, and she needs to be right on the opening credits. I think she fits in perfectly. I really do. I like a scholar. And then when we met her husband, they are a very cute, youthful, vibrant, good-looking couple, and I enjoyed watching them. We enjoyed what we saw of the husband. I think they fit in well with the group. I hope she stays. I really do. But anyway, they brought her in, and she's fearless because she came right in and go for the top dog. Kind of, they said, we got all these emails and stuff and texts about your fashions. So if there's somebody on the cast that you could restyle, who would be? She said, Giselle. She would write for. I said, a scholar don't play. She just say what she thinks. I said, oh my. So that was that. I was like, oh, easy as scholar. We got to get you a peach first. Then you can go after Giselle, girl. But she didn't seem malicious. She came from a place that child can't dress. And y'all see her, honey. Look at her. Anyway, moving on. Oh, Miss Mia. Miss Mia. Girl, the more you talk, the more you incriminate yourself. You give yourself gold digger tease. It just, as soon as you open your mouth. Oh, yes, I fell in love with G after he helped my girlfriend who's Haitian. You know, she lost a lot of things with her business and this, that, and the other. He helped her rebuild after the catastrophe in Haiti. And then he also helped build the VIP area of the men's club that she worked at. Just stamp gold digger on your forehead. It is what it is. You fell in love with him after you saw how he throws his money around. And you realize that you can get your hands on some of it. Period, point blank. It's cool. But it's cool. If he's okay with it and she's okay with it, hell, I'm okay with it. And I told y'all before, anytime there is an older man dating a young girl, listen, you better get paid. You better get paid because it's a setup. It's a setup. When an old man gets his hands on you, he puts his claws into you, and then he raises you to his hand. And that's just the way it is. So you better get paid. Just for better or worse, start planning for worse. You know, worse is, child, you're going to outlive him. That's the plan. You're going to outlive him, and you're going to be stuck to take care of him, honey. So I hope you actually do like him. But yeah, when you're being kept and all of that, honey, you gonna pay it on the front end or the back end. So it is what it is. But girl, the more she talked, she tells the whole story, but then she's like, no, 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 no. Yes, 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 honey. He literally tried to make a hoe into a housewife, and it's okay. And he literally has. Look at you. You're on the Real Housewives of Potomac. Congratulations, girl. Anyway, moving on. And then she said, you know, I noticed he's not just a crazy man running around the VIP area with no shoes on. Girl, you even took on the fact that he's embarrassing. And you're good. Listen, if you like it, I love it. Then she slid that little thing in there that her and her mama was talking about. Candace. Talking about, yeah, my mom's says she gonna pray for Candace. She needs counseling. I said, now girl, now you gonna be mad if Candace start dragging your mom. You didn't have to let Candace know that you and your mom been talking about her, even though y'all were talking about her child. She deserved to be talked about, but that's besides the point. Anyway, moving on. Now, there was this whole little situation that came up. It came up briefly about Giselle and this commentator that she's been dating that's not on the show. And it came up, does Wendy actually know this commentator? And Wendy was saying, you know, she was thinking it might have been this guy that she knew at her, you know, through work. Because he is a commentator and everything like that. But she just came in. She'd been cutting Giselle. She said, listen, I figured, no, it wasn't him because she's not his type. And he's like, well, what do you mean by she's not his type? He likes women with integrity. And she has none. I thought, oh. Just took her knife out and sliced her. I said, oh my gosh. And then they started to talk to Giselle about whenever Jamal cheated on her. And they kept badgering her about, did you cry? Did you cry? And she's like, no, I'm not no crybaby type of chick. That just ain't what I do. And they're like, come on, girl. I mean, when you at home at night, this, that. Like, they just weren't letting up. Like, they're like, you're going to tell us that you cried, girl. We're not going to accept anything else. You cried. You know you cried. Okay, but what if she did? So what? So what? They were just running it into the ground. They got on my nerves. Anyway. Then they started talking about Jamal's taxes. And she was like, listen, I bought a house. So you know my taxes are good. I'm not included in none of that stuff. My taxes are paid. So Karen was like, no, because you know when his tax situation came up, girl, y'all were married. So I was like, Karen, shut up. Now y'all just made up. Hush. Hush. But again, all's fair in love and war because you did drag poor Ray. Giselle, you dragged Ray about his tax issues. So it is what it is. Anyway. Ashley and Candace will always not get along. Because Ashley takes every chance to get a little dig in at Candace as she can. When she started talking about Chris, I was like, oh, Jesus. When she said Chris is not the Chris that they met, she said, you know that since the pandemic and he lost his restaurant, he seems like he lost some of his steam and lost his footing. And now they do feel like he's on her coattails, this, that, thing, and the other. And she's like, yeah, because, you know, Chris, he's putting on weight and he's drinking more. Well, first of all, how often are you actually around them, Ashley? I was like, now, Candace, now I'll be all right if you go ahead and cuss her out now. But she didn't cuss her out, but I probably would have. What do you mean? What do you mean? You don't say nothing. Listen, when you're married to Michael Darby, you don't say nothing about my husband. I wouldn't care if my husband was drunk with his penis hanging out, standing over there up against the wall. When you're married to Michael Darby, you don't say nothing about my husband. Period. Ma'am. How many times you been embarrassed by the blogs, honey? And pictures that leaked of your husband? Shh. I wouldn't care if my husband gained 500 pounds. You don't say nothing about my husband, honey. Period. Moving on. Giselle. Child Giselle Hurricane, this is feeling time when she said, you know what, when you were doing all that stuff and you were throwing that salad, I only threw 2 pieces of lettuce. Girl, stop. Stop with the semantics. Giselle told her, point blank, period. Girl, if Mia would have cold cocked you, girl, I'd have just been on board with it. I was like, oh, that hurt her little feelings. Yeah, that hurt her little feelings. But Girl, what can you do? You were out of order. And the truth of the matter is, girl, she would have bust you up. Ain't nothing you could have did about it. It just was what it was. Throwing food on people. Anyway, moving on. Now, Andy was kind of telling her, you know, because Candace was doing this real tough girl role. I stand in what I said and I did it. Then she told Mia, you know, I ain't even come at you all that hard and you act like you ain't even appreciate it. I was like, girl, wait a minute. Hold on, Candace. Girl, you not bad and you not about it all like that. Girl, do we need to go get Monique for you? Because if we go get Monique, you'll pipe down, won't you? Pipe down or you'll be looking down at the table again. Don't play. Don't play. You were doing too much. And gonna tell that girl you didn't appreciate I was going easy on you. She didn't beat your ass either, and you didn't appreciate it. You doing too much. But Andy told her, why am I working up to messages of people telling me I need to fire you? People just can't take what comes out of my mouth. This, that, and the other. I stand in it. And this, that, and the other. And y'all just can't take the reads that I give out. But then turn around and 5 seconds later, you steadily crying. I said, girl, you can't take the ass whoopings that's going to ensue if you don't knock it off. She's a mess. She's a mess. And I think there's going to come another time somebody going to lay some hands on Candace if she don't cut it. She's doing a bit too much. Child, did y'all see when they asked Ashley, who you think got the better album? And Ashley will say, I put my foot in that record. I did. Yeah, you put your foot in it and you left some toe jam, sis. Ain't nobody into that, girl. Miss Candace is shedding all over you when it comes to the music business, Ashley. Don't kid yourself. Anyway, moving on. Moving on. There was this other little portion where Candace had said to Mia, and Wendy chimed in. You know, this whole thing about, and I had said something about this when we were going through the season. If my mom relapses, you know, it's going to be your problem. It's going to be on you, on your head, and all of this old foolishness. And told her, girl, you were out of order to even say that. Foolish to even think it. And Candace told her, girl, you ought to be ashamed of yourself because you paraded your mother around here to provide yourself a storyline. So you should be the one. You know, it all falls on you. Now, I have to say I agree. I have to say I agree because that is just some foolishness. And the thing is, if your mother hear a few things they said about her on here and she goes and relapse, that meant that she was craving and wanted a little taste. It ain't got nothing to do with nobody on here. Child, if she's that easily swayed, she's just a junkie, and that's all there's to it. I hate to be the one to be so blunt, but it is what it is, honey. If somebody's saying something to her could trigger her into getting all high up, honey, she's just a junkie, and ain't nothing you can do about it. And don't be trying to put it on nobody. It's on her. Period. Now, like I said, this was pretty good though. This first episode was pretty good. We covered a lot of good stuff. I don't see how we're going to make it for 4 episodes. The season was good, but it wasn't that good that we need 4 episodes. Now, we know Nicki Minaj is coming in one of these episodes, but I hope that episode don't turn into the Nicki Minaj show, because this is not Nicki Minaj's show. You know, it's not. It ain't about her. It ain't about Roman. It ain't about none of that. So, I don't know. We'll see. And I do love Nicki, but this is not the time. It really is not. It's not. Anyway, I'm gone. Thank y'all for watching. I'll catch y'all next week for part 2. Later.